food?
No, I heard you made a mattress for somebody one time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, mercy. I worked at Acme Mattress Company. I worked down there about 16 years, and the first day I went, they said, that little old skinny woman won't last 2 weeks. But boy, I fooled them. And I got a thing through. We always got things. I got to make the sample things, and this was to make a king-size mattress for Chill Wills. Now, you have to know who he is to know what that meant. And I'm sure you've seen him sometime, some of you, in old movies. But this was gold and had a little silver streak through the cover. It was not our best cover, but it was pretty. And I got to make that mattress. I wanted so bad to put a note in there with it, but I didn't.
What was it like on the Titanic?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, you're going to get hurt. And then we got a dog now named Lucky that belongs to my son Eddie. And when I was about 11, my brother and some other boys went out, and the mama dog had died or been killed, and they brought home some little puppies. We got one of them, a little black and white Spitz-looking dog, and we named it Lucky. And we raised it on the bottle. And a man came by. I was sitting on the porch feeding this little dog its bottle, and he was a reporter from our local paper, and he gave me a write-up in the paper about feeding that little dog. But we had that dog a long time. When it got killed, I thought my brother was going to absolutely die. He cried till he couldn't cry.
How'd it get killed?
A car hit it. We didn't have too many cars when I was young like that. I mean, the traffic, there was not traffic to speak of. And Enid and I would steal out my brother's bicycle. We lived near Greenwood Avenue on like about the 12 to 1500 block maybe. And we'd go up there and ride that bicycle after dark even. But this was fun. We always had fun. I have fun anywhere I go or whatever I do. And I aim to keep it that way. Let me think.
You can surely think of something that happened with each of your daughters and sons, can't you?
One time
Tell
I
the
had
story
a fight down at work, and they called me.
Oh yeah, talk about the fight.
They called me Sonny Liston for a long time. We had one girl down there. I can't speak her name because that'd be bad. And she just butted into everybody's business. And when if we'd get a bonus or any kind of a thing, which was few and far between, how much did you get? How much did you get? And she'd ask, not only that, she'd ask you personal questions, which weren't any of her business to start with. So one day I just got full of it. We were all having lunch, and we kind of set up on the edge of the cutting tables. And she come through there, and I just decided right now I'd had enough of her. And I jumped down, grabbed her by the neck, and threw her down on the floor. And she kept turning her head, and I got her by the hair. I said, "You look at me when I'm talking to you." I sat in the straddle of her. And boy, I told her off. I said, "If I ever hear you talking about my business again, or asking my business," I said, "you're going around and telling things that you don't know anything about." And I pounded her head on the floor. And boy, all the men in the back, they didn't come in front very often, but when we had to go in the back, they said, "The only thing we hate is we didn't get to see that." And they called me Sonny Liston for the longest time around there. And I got home that day.
Who's Sonny Liston? Boxer. Okay.
I got home that day, and my boss called me. he, he said, Marge. I said, yeah, what is it? And he said, this Riley. I said, I know. And he started laughing. He laughed so hard he couldn't talk to me for a minute. He said, this girl went right out of here and headed for the Union Hall and told them all about the fight. And she just knew that she was going to both get fired. And he said, you just beat her up anytime you want to. I'm not going to fire you. And after that, when I was going down the aisle, she stepped over and went some other way. And she really did. She's a whole lot younger than I was, and she outweighed me about 20 or 30 pounds. And then my friend Nellie says, that wasn't very ladylike. I said, well, I didn't intend for it to be. She was just a Budinsky, and nobody liked her for it. I mean, you've seen nosy people, but this is one of the worst I'd ever seen. If she ever heard this, she'd know it was her, too. What else?
Well, talk about your kids. You gotta remember something about what happened when they were kids. Something about Everett, something about Dad, something about Nancy, something about Aunt Margie, something about Uncle James. Surely you remember something that happened.
Well, James used to come over. He didn't stay with us when we got married. His mother was still living. They were divorced before I ever knew Bud. I had nothing to do with that. But he was about 8 years old, I guess.
So Bud was Uncle James's father?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And he'd come over and spend some time with us. And one year he wanted a bicycle for Christmas, and Bud wasn't going to get it. And I said, oh, yes, you are going to get it. That's one. I didn't stand up to him very often because he'd get mad and not talk to me for several days, and I wouldn't even know what I'd said. But I'd rather he'd have tried to hit me because that would have been the end of him. But James just loved to come to our house. He still talks about it. He'd get to stay maybe 2 or 3 days with us sometimes. And Margie, she was the character. She had long hair. It was down past her waist. And she was so tender-headed, you couldn't comb her hair, you couldn't brush her hair. I know the neighbors thought I beat her every morning before she went to school. But she finally got up and about, and she used to steal the car out at night and drive it, because Bud wouldn't let her drive it. Well, she's 17. She could have driven it. She was a good driver. But Nancy, I don't know, when she was little, she got a new coat when she was about 2 years old. A little more. Maybe she's older than that, I don't remember. But she got the coat and the little bonnet, little hat that had the little bonnet thing. It was blue. She wore that thing till it was a rag, and she'd say, see my new coat? Even after it got that old, she'd see my new coat? That makes me think of one time Daddy bought Enid me, for Christmas we got a new coat and some long underwear. And we put on our long underwear and our coats, and we just danced around. I don't know why. We bought them in an old shop Leon Ison owned, and I think the coat cost $3 at that time. Let me see. What'd Everett do? Well, Everett always ran like the wind. I know I couldn't have caught him if I'd had wings. But Eddie went in the closet one time in our bedroom. We had a peck sack of pecans sitting on the closet shelf. And he went in there and struck a match and set that sack.
Oh my gosh.
And the pecans just fell down, and I heard them, of course. And I went in there, and I didn't whip him.
Did he mean to set it on fire or just accidentally?
He's just playing with matches.
You little arsenic.
But
That's where I get my tendencies.
I took him up in my arms, and I just talked to him. I said, you know, if I hadn't been here, that could have caught the clothes afire and burned the house down. And I said, all of you could have burned to death. And oh, he just puckered up and he cried.
How old was he?
Did he still have blonde hair?
I don't think he was 5.
Yeah, he had blonde hair.
Yeah, he had blonde hair, and Nancy never did too. But
Getting blonde again.
when he was small, he was about 2 when we lived on Division next to Bud's mother. And Art Hayes was married to their cousin, Margie, Tony's child, Tony Howard's child. And Art would pick him up, and Eddie would, if we'd say, kiss my face, we'd tell him, say, kiss my face, and he'd say, kiss my ass. Kiss my ass. And oh, we had such fun out of him. We ought not to tease him like that, because he thought he was saying it right. But Everett was the dude. Everett he slept on a couch. And he had a quilt that my mother made, and of course Everett block was just as square, I mean, as it could be. He was about 3 years old at the time, maybe 4. And he'd make that up, and I mean, there wasn't anything out of line. And both those boys are still like that. If you shut Everett's dresser drawer, he'd open it real easy to see if anything jarred out of line. And they both, everything's got to be exact.
Dad disagrees.
Oh, he...
When we turn the camera, give you your side of the story?
No, Everett and Eddie, they're better housekeeper than either one of the girls. I mean, they know how to do. But it's just by, if they want to come in and fold washcloths, let them. Don't say, well, I can do this so much quicker, you run on. You let them, because that's the only way they're going to learn. And as they get bigger, then it's not a chore. They know how to do it, and it's done. And that Eddie is a neat launder. I mean, I'm telling you, I can't say enough about them.
Didn't they used to have to do chores around the house when they were little?
Yeah. When I went to work, I said, now, the days I have to work, you all have to make your beds and shake the rugs and take out the trash and, you know, the everyday stuff. And I said, the days I'm home, I'll do it. And sometimes I would go dancing at night, too, because I could work for Bill Roller down at Circle Inn, and a couple of hours in the evening, and he'd pay me like for a shift almost, because he could go home and lay down a while or eat supper. His wife would have supper ready. And so it was a honky-tonk, but he kept it in line. If his brother came in there and was already drunk, he did not get a drink. He didn't care who it was. They didn't drink after they got drunk. We played shuffleboard down there, and that was fun. I like to do that real much.
Like to watch Jeopardy, don't you?
Oh, Jeopardy ain't on today, is it?
I'm scared you there. You okay?
Well, I just don't know. I've got like I say, there's so many things, and one thing recalls another.
Well, you get on it.
Did you have any toys when you were a little kid that you really liked, or did y'all have toys?
We didn't have very many toys. I mean, if we got, even my kids, because there was three of them still in school when Bud died, if they got something, if they wanted a basketball, that's what they got, a basketball. But usually they had to have clothes. And they'd find stuff at school and they'd turn it in. But I remember somebody took Everett's, it's a little blue plaid jacket of some kind that was pretty new, and somebody took his jacket and they didn't turn it in. Now whoever, if they took it home, their parents knew it didn't belong to them. But they might have said somebody give it to them. I don't know what happens. But I've got to say that I've got good kids because they're hardworking and they're honest. They're considerate and they're kind. And just like you all do now, you do things for me all the time. And you know there ain't a whole lot of people can say that about everybody in their family.
Not everybody's got a Mimaw like you.
True.
Don't cry.
She's already cried.
I know. Uh-oh.
Well, I tell you, it's been a long life so far, but I ain't done with it yet.
Nope.
Yay!
I'm going for 100 at least.
150. Coming out with new technology, you never know.
150, I don't know.
Cryogenics.
You know, and if you don't like one airway, I could just freeze you up for an air and then, pull
I
you
thought
back
about
in.
that. Maybe they could freeze me up till they find out what makes this stuff on me. Right now, it's doing good. Just as soon as something quits hurting, something else starts.
Did you ever have a birthday party or anything?
No, she never had birthday parties.
I remember
Too
one
bad.
time I had a birthday party, and I don't know how old I was. But Mama was telling me how to write my invitations. And you are cordially invited to do this. And that cordially I thought was the biggest word I'd ever tried to spell. But Mama made us spell. She wrote for a newspaper when we lived in Paris. And she wrote a good hand. My dad wrote a beautiful hand, but it was like curly cues, of his Albert Matthew Palmer. And that M would have things here and it'd go. It was like,
Script.
yeah. He must have been well educated, but I don't know what happened. He moved away from Ohio, and we so far haven't got any information on his family, except his father and mother. I don't know before that. And his brothers and sisters and cousins maybe, but Nancy keeps telling me she's going over there. It's just about 50 miles from where she lives to where he was born. If she could get over there and find out something, I'd really like to have some genealogy on that side of the family, but I'll never get like I have the other one. Of course, I didn't do it all by myself. Aunt May got into that. We used to roller skate till when we'd take our skates off, we'd still feel your feet going. Eddie never did learn to roller skate.
He did it his son.
I'm telling you, I got a lot of traits from Dad. Don't like to roller skate. Like I was told the other day that my desk was the neatest one in there, and all the rest of them were women.
Any good looking ones?
He wouldn't know.
Wouldn't know.
Are you working in the other room now? Does this stop when I stop?
Oh,
Yeah.
you're still talking. You're still recording. There wasn't anything else. I could have sworn that you named off a bunch of stuff that Nancy wanted you to talk about.
I should have written down something. I didn't. You could have told us earlier that you was bringing this.
I
We can
did.
keep it here and just do this again next time we come. We'll come for Easter.
Well, no, I mean, I told Dad that I was bringing it down. He just didn't tell you.
Well, he didn't tell me
We
that.
can have like session 1, session
That's-
2,
Yeah,
a
stop
whole
it.
series of stuff.
Stop
here.
it and let me take up sometime. Just save this one.
Call her up.
Hmm?
Call Nancy up. Tell her you're live. Call Aunt Nancy up.
Right now?
Yeah.
Well, I won't get her.
Yeah, why not?
Because I can't ever get her on the weekend.
Well, let's find out.
Ringing. Ringing. They're not there. I'm live making a, what is this I'm making for Chris?
Tape.
I'm making a tape on this camcorder, and I was hoping to get to talk to you while it was going on, but I guess I'll see you later. Love you. Bye-bye.
Go on.
You know, he cut it off a while.
When did you get your car, your 57 Chevy?
Hmm?
When did you get your car, your 57 Chevy?
I don't remember when I got it.
Was it new when you got it, or was it used?
I'd been sick. Some doctor bought that for his daughter in Tulsa, and she didn't like it. It had about 250 miles on it, I think. She didn't even drive it. And Joanna bought it. It was red then, I don't know.
I only remember it being blue.
I think that girl, I don't know who changed the color of it, but it was originally red. But I'd been sick. It was after I'd quit work. And went over to Enid's and Cecil's. Margie and I went over there. In it. And I guess it was my birthday. I don't know what the occasion was. And all at once, she just come up and put something in my hand that was the car keys. And I said, "What's this for? I can't drive that car." And she said, "Yes, you can. It's yours." Boy, I like to die.
Good joke.
But I don't know how come Joanna to want to get rid of it. I guess Margie bought it from her. I don't remember. But they gave it to me. When did Cecil die? Enid died in 80, and he died a short time before that. So it was way before that because they moved out of the house. It's torn down now, parking lot for Darby, I think. It was in the 70s, I guess. But I'd had a new top put on it and a motor overhauled or transmission or something. I had stuff done to it off and on. And one time I went to Margie's in to spend the night, to spend the week or two. And I said, "Well, I think I'm going to have to go to bed." And they said, "Well, why don't you go to bed?" and said, we'll help you turn the bed down. Well, this is unusual. Went in there and they started turning the bed down real slow. And they'd put money in that bed, $300 to help me pay for something I'd had done to that car.
Cool.
And they just turned down a little at a time, kept coming to more money and more money. I could not believe it. They always did stuff, but they'd go off to work then. They'd have to go to work. And, of course, I could cook up something or sew something. I sewed for them a lot. I made them a lot of, well, just simple things. But
Okay, while this is recording, I want 2 recipes. I want your Colorado stew recipe, and I want your Great Northern beans with carrot recipe.
right now,
Right now.
well,
Okay, Colorado stew.
huh?
Colorado stew.
Oh, I don't know how to tell you.
Oh, sure you do.
For
I know
Colorado
you leave the
stew.
grease in, make it all greasy good.
Well, Colorado stew, you fix your potatoes in a separate pot. And you don't cook them mushy. You just cook them till you can stick them with a fork, just tender. If you cook them mushy, you ain't gonna get good stuff. And then you put your onions in your skillet, whatever amount you like. I never measure, so I can't tell you measures. And then I use ground chuck. I want good ground meat, because if you don't, you're wasting your money. After your onions get, they get kind of turn color,
Translucent.
and then you put your meat in there and crumble it all up and add your salt and pepper and garlic salt. Don't forget the garlic salt. And you keep mashing that around till it gets a little brown or before you think it's done. And you have to, I salt my potatoes while the water's still on them, and I leave the water on them. Don't throw your water out. And then I put a can of, I like the diced tomatoes, because there ain't no waste in that can, and they're good. You put a can of tomatoes in on your meat, and stir that up some, and then you pour your potatoes, water, and all in there. Now you won't have too much water. They say you can use tomato paste and this and that, but I like ketchup better.
Yeah.
I add ketchup till it's the right color I want. I don't want it too red, but it adds to that flavor so much. And you stir it very gently so your potatoes won't all come to pieces. And then if I need more seasoning, I taste along, but I can't measure.
That's pretty much it. Just 1 can of diced tomatoes is all you put in it? And ketchup?
Well, if you use Eddie usually gets like 1.5 pounds or 1 7/8 pounds maybe of meat in a packet. And that's how much I use. I think 1 can of tomatoes enough with your ketchup.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd rather have all tomatoes, you can put more and no ketchup, but I really like that.
I think the ketchup is a secret ingredient.
I like that. And then I simmer it about 5 minutes. Of course, it's always better the second day after it sets overnight, because everything blends well. But that's something a friend at work, Trudy, told me how to make, and I never had made any, but you can use macaroni if you'd rather have it than potatoes. But I love potatoes. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And to make the beans, of course, you get your beans ready and
Which
pick
is
them.
pretty much onion and carrot, right, that's inside it?
Pick them and wash them, and then I put the onion in, and then I grate my carrot. But your beans can cook a while before you add your carrot. It'd take a little over 2 hours to cook beans, but maybe halfway through, I add the carrot and onion. Now you can use a ham hock if you want, but that makes fat. But ham's good in them. Carrot and onion and beans and
Yeah.
for seasoning,
You put garlic salt in it too?
salt. Sometimes I add pepper to what I cook because it's hard for me to eat pepper that I shake on. I get strangled every time. I like it. Mama used to bring stuff. When I had my babies, you had to stay in bed 10 days. It didn't matter. And now people get right up. Yeah, they said stay in bed 10 days. That's the rule. And she'd bring me some food, and I'd say, oh, you put pepper on the tomatoes. She said, hon, just a little bit. But I'd get strangled every time. I don't know why. I really like pepper. But that's two simple dishes to cook.
Yeah.
I meant to cook some beans today, and I didn't do it. I wish I had.
Oh,
Still can. Too late.
I like to cook beans. I used to make all my biscuits and my cornbread and everything from scratch. But it seems like you don't have time to do that anymore. All the labor-saving devices we have, and we never get caught up.
what's your earliest memory of being a kid?
Of me. I can only remember at Paris, maybe about, I could have been about 4, I guess, things. But 5 I can remember, because that's when Enid fell in the pond and we thought she was drowned. It was a stock pond, you know, just, and we had an old white horse named Fox. And all 6 of us could get on him at once.
Yeah.
Just lined up on that old. And Daddy didn't know how to farm. Mama knew how to plant and do, but he raised some sugar cane. People did then. And he'd cut off a piece of that for us to chew on, because it was real sweet, you know, and kids like that. And then he helped build the old bridge that they tore down to build this one down here at the foot of the garrison. It opened in 1922. I've got a picture of it on a postcard. And he and another guy were in a boat under where they's letting stuff down for him to work with. And they let something down on his head. And it broke his neck, but it didn't kill him. I mean, I didn't know you could get a broken neck and not die, but you can. And he had to wear a brace and thing for a long time. And one time he was a carpenter and cabinet maker. And this guy had rent houses he wanted to fix up, but just enough to get by. And Daddy said, I won't do that. He said, if I can't do the job right, I don't want to do it. And how did I find out? I guess we might have had a phone. I don't know. I was about 15, we might have had. And he called back from wherever he'd gone to work, and he had forgot his shingling gauge. Now, I didn't know what that was, but I was going to take it over there to him. And when Mama got it for me, it's a little old thing about that big. You measure some way how far you put your shingles when you're roofing. But I thought I was going to have something big to do. I don't think I'm hardly that big, but about that wide. I'm trying to think of some things Daddy did, but he went out and bought us a player piano one time. We sure didn't need it. We needed everything but a player piano. But they're fun, you know it. This.
How do those work? Do you have to crank it or pump it or
Pedals
pump pedals?
and the music.
Scrolls on that?
We probably didn't have but 2 or 3 different selections if we had that many. But whatever made him buy that, I don't know. One time we lived in that hospital house and he came home with a 5-gallon can of ice cream.
Damn.
Some boys had stole it, I know, because they sold it to him for 50 cents.
Where did y'all store that ice cream?
We ate it.
Had to eat it just right then?
Well, probably.
How many of you ate on it?
Well,
I think a lot of people.
there was a,
5 gallons. It's a lot of ice cream.
we had rumor seed, we had,
Oh, that's right.
and we had some couples that had children. Shelby was one of them, their names. Oh, I can't think, that her name was Christine, the mama. And the boy was named Raymond. Can't think of that girl's name to save my life, and after she moved away from there, she wrote back to us. Can't think. We had one family named Moon. They lived in one room. You had your bed and your stove and your table, and you just had what you had to have. They had a boy named Wiley and a girl named Elna May. Shoot. I drew out a plan of that house, and I had information on it. And 2 ladies from the museum down here came and talked to me that day. And I just jotted that down on a little old pad, floor by floor, you know, and showed where the stairways went and the doorways, and in the big front room where you went, they had to, I guess they brought stretchers in there. 2 big doors that opened out this way. And sometimes after supper, Enid and me had put on a show, and we'd charge the roomers a nickel apiece to come see us. We'd tell funny things or sing or dance or whatever. Oh, Lord. One time we went to an amateur contest at the old Lyric Theater. It was on the north side between Garrison and A Street. And everybody did something, you know, whatever. And Enid wanted to dance, and she'd do like this, you know, and move back and forth. And they were playing Beautiful Ohio, if you ever heard that old song. And they'd stop, and she'd keep dancing. And she did that twice, and the 3rd time they had to go out there and get her. Well, she wasn't going to quit, she was just going to dance. Shoot. And my brother and his friend, and they walked on their hands. They could really do that. They could go up and down steps and stuff. That, I couldn't do that. He's going to sleep. Turn that off. Well, I've talked enough. My throat's getting sore.
Okay.
I'll talk some more later. Goodbye. see you doing that. What are you doing that for? I didn't tell about your Lanta.
My Lana.
That was one of the cutest things I ever saw. Her. That day I was taking my Lanta. You said, what is that? I said, it's my Lanta. You said, can I have a taste of your Lanta? And then that time Alan threw up and he said, oh, I spilled it. Oh, Lord. I'll think of some more stuff later.